Hey, this is Mike.
And this is Charles Woods.
And we're just doing some quick mini reviews live from the 54th annual New York Film Festival at the Walter Reade Theater. If you're in New York this week, come check it out. Lots of great stuff. But the movie I'm most excited about recently, we had a chance last week. We were both in New York to see the premiere of Queen of Katwe at the Urban World Film Festival, but I had to run. We didn't get a chance to talk about it at all, really, so.
Mama. Can you do big things from such a small place?
Don't think about such things.
Why not?
You would be disappointed.
Hey Fiona, how is your life?
It is fine.
Young girl, come inside. What is your name?
Fiona.
Could you please show Fiona how to move the pieces?
In chess, the small one can become the big one.
I cried a few times. Like I just really, like maybe at least 5 times. And it's designed to play with your emotions, and generally I don't like movies that are as manipulative as Queen of Katwe with the music and the emotional beats and everything, but there's just something really beautiful and unique about this movie that I felt was great. It's just about empowerment, seeing, and I guess in order to see a world beyond your immediate surroundings, you kind of need somebody that believes in you and a support system, and just to recognize your gifts. And I just think all those are real universal themes, and I put this in my top 5 so far for the year. And just a great talent, bringing Mira Nair, who's made a lot of my favorite films, from Mississippi Masala to Kama Sutra, Monsoon Wedding. She's just a master of her craft. And if you saw from our interview,
what about the Perez family also?
Yeah, if you saw from our interview, she completely gets it.
The mantra for Maisha, the film school I established 12 years ago in Kampala, Uganda, is if we don't tell our own stories, no one else will tell them. And that is something I deeply believe in, not just for my students, but for my own work.
From her perspective, she wanted to tell a story about a young girl in Uganda, which is her adopted hometown, where she has a film school. And without the use of, white savior character, she says, or any sort of fabrications, So I mean, I give this really the highest recommendation I can possibly give a film. And I know it's syrupy, but I'm a punk, and yes, I cried, and I was really happy at the end. So, but 9 out of 10 on that one for me.
I didn't know you cried at the movie, because let me tell you, I get teased about that all the time. So I know there'll probably be some people who say them 2 crybabies, but
a couple of the first E.T., Queen of Katwe, there's been a few. I've shed a few tears. Sometimes it catches you. The first episode of Queen Sugar caught me off guard. Yeah, I'm a pussycat when it comes to that.
Well, I had to try to be as discreet as possible because you weren't with me sitting there.
Yeah, you're sitting there further back. Yeah.
A couple of times I had to go, about 6, 7 times, get my hanky. But I love this movie, and it would be a shame if people don't go see it and support it, because what was beautiful about this movie is the setting is in Africa, one of the poorest parts in the world, especially in Uganda. Katwe is the most impoverished part of that world, and the metaphor is chess, and the message is that something I used to have to tell the kids, and it was a message that was something they wanted us to convey all the time. You have to believe to achieve. But in chess, we're talking about kings and queens and pawns. And you know how the tagline, one of the taglines for the film is, the little one can become the big one. What I loved about this film is seeing black people who have to rely on black people to survive. And seeing just how much lives are held back and devastated because people don't have the wherewithal in their environment, their milieu. Just little things. I mean, it was just something tough for them to eat on a daily basis.
Yeah, she definitely shows the struggle, and it's it's really well written script, and it's well crafted in the sense that nothing is wasted. Like if you see something at the beginning, it pays off at the end. And one of the scenes you see in the trailer, she's walking by the guy who's making the bricks, and he says, "How's your life?" And she says, "Fine." And that's before she has a level of awareness of what her life could become. And then as she develops her talent through the coach and there are obstacles all around, she starts to dream. She starts to want more, and I think that becomes the crucial conflict for me in the story. That's where I really started to invest even more emotion into the characters in the story, because sports movies, you want them to win, but this is a whole nother level of sports movie, I think.
Well, yeah, the problem with this film is that it's a competitive film, and Mira Nair does a wonderful job of making this exciting, because it's very difficult to make playing chess as exciting as a basketball competition or a soccer ball a competition, because a lot of people aren't even aware of what's happening on that chessboard, because how many people play chess? And it's a wonderful game. But this film, what a lot of people will learn, this is a woman's film, a black woman's film, and we see black women in this film on different levels. There's Lupita Nyong'o's woman. There's David Oyelowo, his wife.
His wife, yeah.
That's another level. There's the sister, the older sister, that level. Fiona, who is the main star, her level. And seeing how, especially with Lupita's character, what she has to do to try to survive and sustain herself and take care of her family.
While maintaining a certain level of self-respect and dignity.
Yes. So we have a picture about black women that we don't get in cinema. And you can see it's crafted from the hands of a woman of color who does a great job. But also, what I loved about it was, yes, we see the queens, well, I call them queens, but we also have a king in this movie, a black king.
Yeah, well, let's speak a little bit about David Oyelowo, because I think, I'm just gaining more and more respect for this man and the roles he's choosing and the way he represents himself on screen. And in this one, I felt like he was channeling a little bit of Sidney Poitier at times.
I already know what some people are going to say, and I don't even want to get into who he's married to or anything like that. His image is reminiscent of the dignity that Sidney brought to the screen for blacks. And I love his selection of films. I love the quality and the integrity of his roles, and my kudos to this man. He's really doing wonderful things. But this film, his role in this film, someone, if he was white, he would be called a white savior. Mm-hmm. But here's a black man who, this is based on a true story. This story is based on an actual event. Mm-hmm. Here's someone, it shows you the importance of role models and people who can find the jewels. Mm-hmm. We're all jewels, but to bring that out, that this girl is a prodigy. Someone to see it, to help nurture it, to help make it come to fruition, to help it realize, to help her realize her talent. And this thing helped change not only Fiona's life, but the people she loved.
Yeah, he's 300 other. He continues to coach chess and use that as a way out of the hood. And that's another thing about this film that's great. We've seen these movies before. It's not like we haven't seen sports films before or movies even going back. I like Conrack as much as, because for a lot of the same reasons why I like this one, because you see young kids that are being empowered through education. And but lately, the movies that are being made stateside that show coming of age or youth coming of age don't show how you can use your brain to escape circumstance, and that's something that Mira Nair has always put into her work. There was another film that she did, The Namesake, where we interviewed her, and it was all about how books can change your life. So, so all these kids learn and grow, and all the kids were like local talent, not really actors, and they all have personality and they're just great.
Yeah, that's very important, Mike. That a lot of the films we see when we're talking about blacks changing their lives is through knowing how to play ball, put a ball in the basket, or play football.
Either you sell crack rock or you got a wicked hook shot, to quote Biggie Smalls.
Yeah, but here's something. Even though she is someone with a gift, she still had to work. Mm-hmm. Put forth an effort. This young girl was illiterate, mm-hmm. but you could see she's given a book on Bobby Fischer, and she's learning how to read. Mm-hmm. She's studying, so it's not just relying on your natural talent, right. Because maybe what's his name felt he didn't have to go to practice.
Mm-hmm. And also, another important rule. I was talking to somebody who's a teacher, and she's. One of her complaints was that a lot of the kids today aren't used to losing. They're not used to rejection. Everybody, when they play soccer here, everybody comes in first nowadays. But this movie reinforces the idea that there's a value to losing, because that gives you a chance, as they say in the movie, to reset the board and play again. So, there's lots of life lessons in this movie.
I wanted to start a program. Whiz Kids, and someone knocked it because they said, no, then you're going to have this kids from one school feel superior to the kids from the other school. Mm-hmm. I said, well, isn't that same danger inherent in one basketball team beating the other basketball team? It's all about the message that you convey with the competition, mm-hmm. But the thing is, you learn not by succeeding all the time, but what mistakes you made, and then what you have to do not to make those same mistakes. But the whole thing is about effort, and what's important is that our kids need to be exposed to these mm-hmm. things. A lot of times, it's not, they always want to say that blacks are not making
this crime in New York? So I hope everybody's okay. I don't want anybody to be hurt.
But they want to say we're not making it because we're not on the same level as far as intelligence is concerned. Right. No, it's about exposure. And you show our kids this, stuff, how to play chess, reading, the joys of reading, the joys of learning, we can be on level with anyone else.
Absolutely.
And that's our history as well.
So I mean, so we're saying the same thing. I mean, this gets my highest mark. One of the best movies I've seen this year, and but again, we have to caution. Like, you have to go support these things. We've had movies like this before. It's not like this is the first time we've had a movie that's inspiring for kids.
I think it's just regrettable that films like this,
We've had great debaters.
people don't go see them because there's not a lot of action, there's not a lot of killing.
Yeah, Kill and the Bee.
Yes.
I mean, those were the movies everybody said, hey, we want this, we can't wait to see this. And then they come out and nobody goes. So.
And yeah, great debaters. I think maybe a lot of people still haven't seen it. I mean, but Melvin B. Tolson, when he worked with these kids to show them how to study, how to be on your game, because a lot of people want to be argumentative, but it's anyone can argue about something, but are you well informed enough to debate and support what you're saying?
Mm-hmm. So this, I just, I can't implore people enough. This is the kind of movie, if you want to send a message to Hollywood, that movies, this movie really, we know David Oyelowo, we know Lupita Nyong'o, but they're not established box office performers. This is Lupita's first starring live action role since 12 Years a Slave. So she's not necessarily established. This movie, it costs a fraction of what Avengers cost. And I think the reason why it got made was because they saw the quality in the story. But and certainly it's a movie that is designed to appeal to everyone. And, but I think it's really important that people of color go support this kind of film because, you're going to enjoy it, you're going to be empowered, especially if you have kids or young people. But also, in some ways, it makes it easier for them to make the next
and
film.
Support it. It's well-made film, but if no one goes to see it, they'll say, well, I'll tell you the reason why it didn't make any money. We should have had the way we wanted to change the script,
A little white guy
where
there.
this white chess player was just dropping off over in Africa, and he meets the family. Mm-hmm. No, we don't have that in this film. This is about black people, and it's great to see.
But it has your circumscribed historicity. Yeah. But it's a good thing in this case.
White folks love Bill Cosby so much. They had commercials, man, where little white children was riding his back eating tapioca out of his eardrums. Daddy Bill. And so, how do they kill my son and I can't get a commercial?
For me, I feel that what Sidney was allowed to do in the Heat of the Night was the start of blaxploitation.